After a rocky start to the school year, San Diego State is again facing criticism. The anger from parents tonight as a student faces suspension over how long it took her to report a COVID test.
A new, more contagious strain of the virus hits England, and a San Diegan overseas is now trying to avoid it. Why he says London's densely packed population is just his first concern.
And in our Season of Hope, we look at how one San Diego family is spreading cheer and keeping tradition alive with Secret Santa.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
San Diego State University has had a rough time during the pandemic. First, it joined a list of American universities whose fall semesters were upended by COVID outbreaks. There were more than 1,000 cases among students and staff in the first month.
And tonight, the university is defending its disciplinary protocols after angry parents criticized the school. The family of a sophomore tells our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner their daughter may be suspended for the entire semester for not reporting her COVID test results fast enough.
SDSU said Monday that consequences for violating COVID-19 policies can include official warnings, suspensions, or even expulsions. A campus challenged months ago by its explosive COVID-19 case numbers, now criticized for its disciplinary action against students. You're about to hear from the father of an SDSU student who asked that we not show her face or use her name out of fear of retribution. He says she lives in a single room in the dorms. When she fell ill, he says she visited the county's testing site on campus where she tested positive, but waited 4 days to notify the housing authority instead of doing it immediately.
She thought that she didn't have to because the test was done on campus. She thought it was being reported to the school. Documentation that she had signed for housing said that she should report results or contact with other positive students immediately. And immediately is not defined in any of the paperwork.
He says she self-quarantined but still got in trouble. This is the letter the school sent. Options include taking an academic suspension for the spring semester or for this current semester.
It means all the work you've done all this semester will be wiped out. You're giving up this entire semester.
He says he's part of a Facebook group where dozens of other SDSU parents are sounding off about similar disciplinary actions for what he calls minor offenses during a rapidly changing pandemic.
It seems like the school is very overhandedly punishing students in this environment.
SDSU reports that due to privacy regulations, it can't give out information about specific cases, but states in part that it rolled out extensive education campaigns related to pandemic policies that the university community should adhere to. To date, 1,423 notices of possible individual or organizational violations have been issued. Additional notices of violation are pending. The student who we profiled plans to fight the school to avoid any suspensions. Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
In the meantime, San Diego's stay-at-home order has now been in place for 2 weeks and is currently at the center of a bitter legal battle over whether to let restaurants serve food on site. There's only 1 week left for that current order, but today Governor Gavin Newsom said it is almost guaranteed to be extended.
Based upon all the data and based upon all these trend lines, it's very likely, based on those current trends, that we'll need to extend that stay-at-home order.
The order is based on ICU capacity. At least 15% of beds need to be available across several Southern California counties before that order can then be lifted. Today, ICU capacity across our region, it remains at 0%. As we mentioned, there is that legal fight over the county's stay-at-home order, and today people rallied in El Cajon to challenge it. Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura shows us hundreds of people came to demand schools and businesses reopen.
Sky 10 flew over the rally organized by the group Reopen San Diego. Called the All I Want for Christmas is Freedom rally, it drew a large crowd at El Cajon Centennial Park Monday.
It's Christmas time, and we shouldn't live Christmas in fear right now. And I actually believe that we're turning the corner.
El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells was one of the elected officials who spoke, along with Congressman Darrell Issa and State Senator Brian Jones. They advocated for businesses to reopen fully. They believe it can be done safely. It comes as state officials report a surge in COVID-19 cases and ICU hospitalizations. One local business owner said the idea of resisting closure orders isn't easy with the threat of fines.
I would really appreciate just let us work. That's it. We will take care of ourselves. That's the big thing. Altogether, like we struggle and it's stress when you have to figure out with your debts every single day just because not your fault. You're doing everything right according to the law. And you have to still pay. Nobody give you even penny discount for that.
The rally comes less than a week after a San Diego judge passed a ruling that allowed 2 local strip clubs and all county restaurants to remain open during the stay-at-home order. But that ruling was blocked by an appellate court 2 days later, forcing restaurants to close their dining areas again. Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
Here's the problem, though. San Diego's COVID cases, they don't appear to be slowing down. The county's 14-day rolling average continues to climb and has now hit 9.5%. There were also more than 3,200 new cases reported today. That brings our total to nearly 130,000. The county also reported 3 more COVID-related deaths. Close to 1,300 San Diegans have died from this virus.
As a second vaccine begins to roll out across the U.S., nursing home residents in San Diego County are getting their first doses. Carlos Alegre was vaccinated at the Birch Patrick Skilled Nursing Facility at Sharp Chula Vista today. He is believed to be the first nursing home patient in San Diego to get the vaccine. Doctors with Sharp say there are 50 residents of the facility and all will be vaccinated in the coming weeks.
They should be vaccinated with the first dose by the beginning of January. We're talking about, at the end of February, beginning of March, they should be protected with the 2 doses.
The first doses of Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines are going to frontline healthcare workers and residents of long-term care facilities. Meantime, President-elect Joe Biden also got his first dose of the Pfizer vaccine this morning. The event shown live. Biden will have to receive a second dose in a few weeks, at which point the vaccine should be 95% effective. Dr. Jill Biden received a vaccine shot today as well. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and her husband will receive their vaccinations next week.
A North County school district may face an uphill battle in bringing students back to campus in the new year. The California Teachers Union has filed a legal petition to block San Diego Union High School District's return to class in January. The school board voted last week to bring back in-person learning for 5 days a week. But the teachers union says the plan is not safe while the county is still in the purple tier. It also estimates as many as 20% of teachers won't come back for in-person learning.
And I'm just worried that it's not going to roll out well. I'm worried for equity for students. I'm worried for the many students that'll be affected by teachers going out on leave and having subs for classes.
The school board is having an emergency closed-door meeting tomorrow to address the legal challenge filed by the union. Right now, teachers who are or live with someone at high risk for the virus, they can teach from home until January 22nd. There is no word on what will happen after that. And the ACLU is trying to get more information about the number of COVID-19 cases in San Diego County jails. In a public records request, the agency says it wants to know more about how the Sheriff's Department has handled this pandemic. That information includes what measures are in place to identify someone who may be medically vulnerable to a COVID infection, as well as social distancing and testing protocols. The ACLU argues the Sheriff's Department needs to release more inmates to stop the spread of the virus in jails.
The numbers may not match a normal holiday season, but Lindbergh Field and other airports are seeing their highest number of travelers since the pandemic began in March. Our partners at KPBS report more than 1 million people have gone through an airport TSA checkpoint in just the last 3 days, a first in 9 months. And as the CDC and other health agencies plead with the public to avoid holiday gatherings this year, Lindbergh Field expects its daily number of travelers to increase through Christmas.
We anticipate seeing as many as 20,000 passengers coming through the airport on our busiest travel days, which are December 23rd and December 27th.
The airport says despite the holiday increase, it's still seeing nearly 75% fewer people flying compared to a normal year. AAA estimates about 85 million people will travel between Wednesday and January 3rd, mostly by car. You can use the free ABC 10 News app to track the latest coronavirus developments, from stimulus checks to vaccine distribution. You can find it in the App Store.
East County residents who are currently getting help from FEMA after the Valley Fire in September may be able to extend that assistance into the new year. The county says this applies to people whose homes were lost or damaged and are getting rental assistance in a temporary home. Those who wish to extend, they must show how the fire impacted them financially and be working on a plan for recovery. Extensions are granted in 3-month increments up to a total of 18 months from when the president declared an emergency. In the case of the Valley Fire, that was on October the 16th.
We have new information about a deadly motorcycle crash in the North County late last night. The CHP says a motorcyclist was speeding on the 15 in Escondido when he clipped a pickup truck and lost control. The motorcyclist was thrown onto the freeway, where CHP says he was hit by several cars. He died at the scene. CHP has not released any more information, including the motorcyclist's identity and whether they think drugs or alcohol played a role in the crash.